All right, welcome back to Zyrist Codes. Today I'm going to be tackling some Python. I'm going to start over with the Advent of Code series. I'm going to do uh, the. I'm going to start back at day one on 2015. So you'll notice that I already have these complete. That's because I did them in C sharp. So I already know what the answer is, which is fine. I still want to go through the steps of completing the problem. Before I get started, things to note about Python if you're watching the C Sharp series. Python is a simpler language. There's a lot less typecasting and stuff like that. So um, that's one of the things that makes it appealing is there's a little bit less to learn, but that also creates some issues with it when you're using it. So you'll as I go through the series, you'll probably notice me looking stuff up a little bit more than I would with the C sharp stuff. That being said, I'm going to start as though you haven't watched the C sharp series, uh, so that way if you haven't, you don't have to go and duplicate the videos. Okay. So, the Advent of Code website is a website full of challenges that they do in December every year. They keep the challenges up so you can do them whenever, but they release a new series in December every year. So there is one coming up in a couple months, and I would like to cover that on the stream as well. That being said, this one we're doing the 2015 year, so that's what we're covering. Today we're going to start with day one. And the scenario is that Santa was hoping for a white Christmas, but his weather machine's snow function is powered by stars, and he's fresh out. So, to save Christmas, he needs you to collect 50 stars by December 25th. You can collect stars by helping Santa solve puzzles. 2 stars will be made available each day on the Advent calendar. The second puzzle unlocked when you complete the first. Each puzzle grants 1 star. Good luck. So, the way this works is December 1st, they release their first puzzle. When you complete it, it unlocks the part two. So that's how you get your 2 stars per day. And then day two is December 2nd and whatnot. So like I said, they've already released all these, so I don't have to wait a day for the next set. So here's the startup puzzle. Santa is trying to deliver presents in a large apartment building, but he can't find the right floor. The directions he got are a little confusing. He starts on the ground floor, which is floor 0, and then follows the instructions one character at a time. An opening parentheses means he will go up one floor, and a closing parentheses means he should go down one floor. The apartment building is very tall, and the basement is very deep. He will never find the top or bottom floors. So, your examples are, this would be up, up, down, down, and up, down, both of those result in him being on floor 0. If you have up, 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 or up, down, up, that results in him being on floor 3. If you have down, up, that's also a floor 3. Up, down, or down, up, both result in -1, which is the first basement level. Down, up, up, down is also -3. So, what floor do the instructions take Santa to? So I need to go over here and get my puzzle input. So I'm just going to copy this. Okay. Close that. I'm going to go to my project here. I'm creating a new project. I already have a folder and a naming convention put in place, so this isn't going to be super new. These are my C# files, so I'm putting my Python ones in the same one. I don't know if this is going to be a problem. Maybe I should do py at the end. There we go. So I know it's the Python version. I'm going to create it. It's just a basic Python application. I'm using Visual Studio 2019. And okay, so this is the basic setup for Visual Studio. You have your project, and then your solution, and then your projects in the solution, and each project has its own files. So that's pretty common setup. Unlike some other ways of doing Python, this actually creates it in a solution. I've seen Python files that it's just a py file, and there's no solution that compiles it all, which is fine for the IDEs that those are, but The solution helps you to keep everything together, and like I said, you can chain multiple projects together. They can identify each other. That's one of the beauties of Visual Studio. So um, we are in the solution for Advent 2015. The base py file is empty. There's nothing here, so, and that's fine. What we're going to start off with doing, just because I have data and I know I'm going to be using it, I'm going to go ahead and right click on the project, not the solution, the project. I'm going to right click here. I'm going to add a new folder, and this is where I'm going to keep my data. And I'm going to add a new item, which is I'm going to do a text file. So it's going to be data.txt. That changes it to a text file. And this is where I'm going to put my input, which is my test. Okay. And you'll notice it's a fairly long string. You probably saw that when I copied it. It's a pretty long string. So it's got a lot of instructions in it. You wouldn't want to do this by hand. Okay, so I'm going to save this. I'm going to close my data file because that's all I'm doing with it. To read my data file, I'm going to make a variable. So this is what I was talking about earlier. Python doesn't have typing. It's all implicitly typed because it converts everything to a string. Unlike other languages where you identify, like this is an integer, this is a string, this is a URI. Python treats them all as strings, so the logic is a little different. So I don't have to initiate a type for my variable. So my variable is going to be I'm just going to call it instructions, and I'm going to make that equal to open f data dash data.txt. So it's going to open that data text file. I believe, if I'm correct, if I do a comma, file mode buffering. Not sure. So in my other version, I have R here, and I think that splits it up on returns, but I don't remember for sure. I don't think I need that. We can try it and see. The other thing with Python is you don't need to end it with a semicolon. That's not needed. So we're going to do a variable that holds what floor we're currently on. We're going to call that floor, and we're going to set it to 0. So because this particular problem is super simple, I don't need to break it out into like I don't need to break it out and have rules or validators or like services or anything like that. So I'm going to just do it all here, just for the basics of it. Now, what do we need to do? Okay, so we need to iterate through each character in this data file. So we need to iterate, and each one of these is a character. So I need to iterate through them individually and find out, do I go up? Do I go down? Do I go up? Do I go down? Okay. So to do that, I'm just going to create a for loop. I'm going to loop through it. So I'm going to do for I in. I'm used to doing the initializers and stuff. Range, and your range. So with your range, you want to start, like, indicate your starting position. Now, when you're programming, if you've done any programming, you know that an array of any kind, or anything, starts at index 0. You don't start counting at 1, you start counting at 0. So your last number is always one less than the actual number of items. So like if you have 4 apples there and you start counting them from 0, you got 0, 1, 2, and 3. Those are your 4 apples. So same thing here. You're going to start at 0 and you're going to end on the last one, which the range already does the -1 part for you. So you can just do the length of the string. So the length of instructions. So however many characters are there, it's going to do this once for each of those characters. Okay. And what are we doing for each of those characters? Well, you're going to do if, excuse me, if I,
The candies that I ate, the green and orange one, are not spicy and
sour, they're not sour. Mm. Yeah. Okay, so if, oh, they do equal, okay. So if I equal, we're going to do here. So basically, if it's that character, what do we want to do? We want to floor plus equals 1. So we're going to add 1 to floor. Else, do we want to do else if? I don't think we need to do else if because it's going to be one or the other.
I've been super good for mom.
Good.
Then 2 more.
You can have them in a minute, okay?
Okay. Set them by your.
Okay. So what this does is it checks each character. If it's this one, it's going to increase your floor 1 point. Otherwise, it's going to decrease at 1 point. All right, so that's how you're checking between them. Now, that's good and all, but I need to return. I need to see what that floor is at the end of the file. So we're going to do a, it's not console, it is printf. So print f, the last floor is, and then you're going to put your last floor, which is floor. And this is why I don't like Python. I didn't get an indicator that that was misspelled. I think that's it. That's pretty simple. We should be on floor 280, I believe was the correct answer. Okay, so has no length. Well, what does instructions look like? Do I need that R? I think maybe I do need that R. I thought that was for return line, but let's see what that does. That might fix the problem. Nope, didn't fix the problem. Name, data, line buffering, errors. Hate. And I gotta look at my reference real quick. Do I just need to string it? My issue is IO text IO wrapper has no line. In a minute, I want you to play on your computer for a minute, okay? You don't need all the candy right now. Okay. Google! Saying I should do instructions.read. So instructions equals instructions.read. Wonder why that is. It probably because it didn't do that before. Interesting. Last floor is minus 7,000. So we got something. That's not what we want. It should be 280. Okay, so I. Oh, I know why. I know why. If it's not if I, it's if instructions at I. I thought I typed in S. So the first one, yeah, floor plus. The second one should be floor minus. Yeah, we're good now. Okay, now we should be at floor 280. Boom. Okay, so that's perfect. That worked out perfectly. Minor little read issue and making sure I indicate what I'm doing, and that's it. Okay. So what now? Now we need to do part two. So let's go ahead and go back here. Like I said, we knew that our floor was going to be 280. This is going to be 1797, which we know the answer for that, but we'll make sure it works. So now, given the same instructions, you want to find position of the first character that causes him to enter the basement, floor minus 1. The first character in the instructions has position 1, the second character has position 2, and so on. So, for example, or for what they're talking about here, we actually start at 0. So the first character is actually at 0, but they want it to be 1. So we have to offset it by 1. And then the second character has position 2. So again, that would be 1. We're going to offset it by 2. But we need to know when he first goes into the basement. So in this case, he starts at 0, goes down. Well, that's position 1. Or if he goes up, down, and then down, that's position 5. So we're going to go back here and we're just going to add a small if statement right here. So, and we want a new variable. We're going to do basement because that's what we're looking for. When did he go into the basement, right? Like I said, we're going to do an if statement here. If floor is less than, or no, if, oh, hang on. If floor, okay, is less than 0, and because we don't want to reset it the next time he goes in the basement or the next time he goes a floor down, we want it to only happen if the basement hasn't been set yet. So if basement equals 0. Okay, so if basement's 0 and we go into the basement, then we're going to set basement equals floor. That's it. So now we're going to print the floor where Santa entered. God, I can't type today. Okay, so people are probably wondering why the F when in my strings. So why do I put F in front of them? What that means is that I can implicit things into the string. So like, it's not writing the word basement here; it's writing the variable in that is contained by the variable basement. So the value, and that's what the F does. It allows me to do this. All right, instead of having to concact the string or append the string. Okay. So if I run this, I should get 1797. Basement is minus 1. Oh, I don't want floor. I want I. Because I just told it, sign the floor. The floor would be minus 1. We don't want the floor. We want the position of when he went. So yeah. Okay. 17. Oh. You remember how I said we have to offset it by 1? I forgot to offset it by 1. So I plus 1. There we go. offset it by the 1, and we're good to go. Perfect. That's day 1. That's part 1. I don't know what else to say. If you like this, I do plan on doing C++. I'm going to continue the C#, and I'm going to continue the Python series. If you're watching this on YouTube, please drop a like, follow, comment, all of that stuff. Interact with the video so that way it gets popularity. If you're watching on Twitch, I appreciate your patronage. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I'm going to take a minor break and then decide what I'm going to do. All right, thanks. Later.